story, and I'm covering this story because I do have experience with advertising. So I said, well, I'm going to talk about this. If you don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, you probably do now, or you will after this discussion. Sydney Sweeney is an actress and a producer. At the time, before this ad created so much controversy, I was not aware of who Sydney Sweeney was, but I did read up about her, that she was on a show called White Lotus on HBO. And I said, oh, well, that explains why I don't know who she is, because I don't have HBO. So I'm sorry, guys, but some of the shows that you guys request me to watch, they're on HBO and I can't watch the shows, or they're on Showtime and I can't watch it. So I can't. Yeah, I ain't got that kind of, we ain't got it like that over here. I don't have HBO. I don't have Showtime. I don't have any of that stuff. So, but anywho, Sydney Sweeney just participated in an American Eagle ad that is starting a lot of controversy. Everybody's talking about it. And I want to give a little bit of the advertising perspective to show you how things work in advertising. Now, I'm going to start with this clip here from Fox News because I think it's interesting, because the ad that they show you is not the ad that people are upset about. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Well, Sydney Sweeney is facing woke backlash as the face of American Eagle jeans. The superstar actress announced her latest partnership with the brand, launching a new campaign highlighting her, quote, great jeans. Take a look.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting, right? That's not the ad that people are talking about. So a lot of times with companies, when they create ads, they'll create multiple ads, right? Like 3, 4, maybe even 5. And depending on the platform, they will run maybe like that ad, which is a lot shorter. Maybe they'll run that like on a YouTube short or something like that. Things so much different now than it was before when I was in advertising, but they'll use different ads that have different time lengths on different platforms. So like 30 seconds may go on one platform, the 1 minute one may go on another platform, but that's not the ad. That's not the ad that people are talking about. That's not the one. This is the ad that people are talking about. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring it up here.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
So that's the ad that people are upset about. Charlie said, ew, what the fuck? But there's a big difference between the ad that they showed you on Fox News. Now, given what I just showed you, right? So you can see here, they're talking about the genes themselves. They're showing the genes, but then they're talking about her genes.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
So she says her genes are blue. So yes, the genes that she has on are blue, but her eyes are also blue. So they're talking about genes that you physically put on, the item of clothing, and they're talking about your genes that are passed down through your parents, grandparents, etc., like your hair color, your eye color, all those types of things. So now that you've seen the actual ad, let's go back to that segment on Fox News. Because like I said, I think it's important that you guys see the real ad that people are talking about, not this one that they just showed you.
But some on the left wasted no time attacking the advertisement and its tagline, saying that it's not about a pair of pants. It's actually racist. Salon Magazine writes, quote, the phrase used in bold on billboards in Times Square in Las Vegas was designed as a denim pun. But online, many saw something else. Great genes, G-E-N-E-S, a phrase historically used to celebrate whiteness, thinness, and attractiveness. Others described the slogan as too close to master race propaganda and said it echoed eugenics-era language used to validate and promote the superiority of white beauty. Harris, I come to you first.
Let's pause here for a second, okay? Because first and foremost, I think what people, if you haven't been in like advertising or maybe just not as familiar, I think what people don't understand is that this bad press is not going to hurt American Eagle. It's making American Eagle more popular, which is exactly what American Eagle wanted to happen. Let's walk through this a little bit and I'll tell you how advertising works. Number one, so I think that people assume that, let's start from the beginning. When it comes to advertising, right, the goal is to sell. The company is trying to sell a product or they're trying to sell a service. Now, in order to do that, the company has to ask, what is our target audience? Now, I know this because I took advertising when I was in undergrad and we had to create ads. Like as part of our projects, that's what we had to do. So we had to walk through these steps as to who are we trying to reach? What are we trying to sell? Do we have a hook in the ad? Is there something about the ad that's going to keep people talking and is going to get their attention? American Eagle did all that with this ad. And whether people like it or not, everybody's talking about it, which is exactly what American Eagle wanted you to do. Since this ad has been released, American Eagle stock has shot up. Since this ad has been released, everyone is talking about it. There are some people who saw this ad and they're like, I didn't even make the connection of the jeans and the jeans are blue and my eyes are blue. Some people did not make that connection. But I will say this, getting back to what you were trying to advertise and who you were trying to reach, who is the intended audience? Every company, every business, when doing an ad is going to ask that question. So American Eagle here did a play on words to reach a certain demographic. American Eagle to me kind of was like the more affordable version of Abercrombie and Fitch, and they tended to have a certain demographic, right? They catered, their ads tend to appeal more to, white, preppy, like younger people, just like Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, in 2019, they decided to make a change, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. In 2019, they went in another direction where American Eagle, so I'm getting confused now. American Eagle decided to reach a different audience, and I just want to show you this, right? 2019 versus 2025. Now, this was the ad that American Eagle had in 2019. Notice the difference. It is a voluptuous Black woman in their jeans. Now come 2025, they have a thin white woman in their jeans who is also doing the comparison between physical jeans and her actual jeans, like her eye color. In 2019, when American Eagle had this ad, they were trying to reach a certain demographic. That is how advertising works. Now, whether or not you like the ad or you agree with it or not is besides the point for the company. If they can get you to talk about it, then they have won. If they can get everybody in an uproar about this ad, then they have won. And I'll show you the response that American Eagle is making right now, right? And to show you just that, how they have won. Now, who do I think they're trying to reach in that ad? It's very obvious. The target audience in that particular ad, they are reaching out to younger white people, possibly younger men in that ad. That's who they are speaking to. In 2019, in the ad that they had there, they were speaking to younger Black women, possibly even younger Black men, because they had the girl showing her booty. I mean, they had the booty like just all right there. So What I'm trying to say is companies go back and forth. One year they may try to reach one demographic. Years later, they may try to target another demographic. That's what they do. Now let's go back into this clip here from Fox News.
And promote the superiority of white beauty. Harris, I come to you first. You have young daughters, and we love fashion together. Are these criticisms valid? Will it have an impact?
I can tell you that in my household, we wouldn't even think of that. I have biracial children. I live with a white Jewish man. I mean, what I thought that meant was, well, she was wearing some great jeans. I guess I'm really naive. I lived this long to be naive. But I also don't see everything through the prism of race. And I think you can find whatever it is you think you're looking for. And that's what I feel when I read about this. It's like, well, they wanted to see it this way, so they did. I'm more concerned about whether or not, there are enough women in ads, that just like I was.
Brian said, lot of booty, show the booty again. Hey, I told you what? I told you they trying to target certain people.
It's about women in sports. There's certain things that really do occur to me immediately in advertising. That really didn't.
And the counter often are saying, Lisa, is that, well, she's actually not that thin, the historically thin that's been unhealthy. She's curvy and natural. She's a biological woman. So finally, we're celebrating that. And that it has nothing to do with what it might imply to some people.
Yeah, I mean, Sydney Sweeney's success in this ad campaign has nothing to do with race. It has to do about returning to traditional standards of beauty. And I guarantee the same people who find Sydney Sweeney attractive also think Halle Berry is hot and attractive, also think Jessica Alba is as well. This is about rejecting the Orwellian way of life that was shoved down our throats for 4 years under Joe Biden. The war is peace, the freedom is slavery, the ignorance is strength. And I will add, hairy armpits is attractive, right? or attractive. So, we were told for 4 years that like obesity is healthy, that Harry Styles wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue magazine, that's masculinity, that, the Doug Emhoff's daughter with hairy armpits, that's a model, that's attractive, right? So I think what is happening now is American society going back to what we traditionally see as beauty, which is just women looking like women.
Let me pause here and let me add to something that she just said here, right? I think that especially for the younger people, right? Like I'm a millennial, I'm an older millennial. I think for like some of the younger people, the Gen Z people, you may not have grown up during, I think when you guys were growing up, things were different. When I was growing up, most of the models and most of the people that I saw in the commercials were white. See, things changed over time, but people have to remember, I grew up during a time when the women on the cover of the magazines were models. It wasn't a singer. It wasn't an actress. It wasn't a reality TV star. And I can still remember Tyra Banks. That was like a big thing. Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell, when Tyra Banks made the cover of Sports Illustrated, I remember that being a big, big deal because they never had a Black woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated before. But I think for a younger generation, I think that you may not be used to, but that's what I grew up with. I still remember going into the store, like when I was younger and I had Barbie dolls, there was one Black Barbie doll and her name was Christy. Now you have everything. Like you have a variety. You go look at Barbie. You got Barbie of all different races, ethnicity, and all that kind of stuff. But when I was growing up, it wasn't like that. And when we talk about the models, when I was growing up, for the most part, it was not like that. There were Black models, but there were far and few, and there were very few Black supermodels, and very few of them that got on the cover of the magazines. So I think part of the reason why people are freaking out is because they're seeing this ad and they're like, whoa, what's happening here? Well, what are we doing? They made that ad for a specific demographic. Now, you don't have to like it and you ain't got to agree with it. Hell, you ain't even got to buy American Eagle clothes. But at the end of the day, now and this is something to think about. It kind of puts you in the other person's shoes. It puts you in the other person's shoes, the people who were complaining and said, oh, I'm so tired of certain things being pushed down my throat. Now it's like, because things are changing, now you're on the other side of that. And part of this could have to do with politics. I don't know. I just think that the numbers are showing that the US is becoming more conservative, whereas people do agree more with like those progressive or populist policies. The data, and I've shown it before on the show, especially even more younger people are embracing more conservatism. The young men, the Democrats lost young men in 2024. So when companies are trying to advertise, they decide which demographic they're trying to attract, who they're trying to reach. This isn't the first time. There was an actress who was a model. Her name was Brooke Shields. She did an ad kind of similar to this back in the day. And she said, nothing comes between me and my, was that the Calvins or the Levi's? Does everybody remember Brooke Shields? Anyway, Brooke Shields, she was very famous like back in the day. And she was a model and she was also an actress. And she had an ad that was similar to Sydney Sweeney's, the Calvin, Jordache and Calvin jeans. Okay, you guys, some people know. Yeah, Calvin's. Yeah. And I remember my mom was telling me that that was considered controversial for the time. Like people were like, what does she mean? Nothing comes between her and her Calvins. Like that was a big deal, my mom said. I was like, really? So, and you kind of find yourself back in this spot again. Now, did American Eagle know what they were doing when they said, let's do the play on the words and, you know, that kind of thing? Of course, like I said, they're trying to reach a certain demographic and all companies do it. And they have different demographics that they try to reach, and they do it in different ways. And so again, when you saw American Eagle in 2019, that was the demographic they were trying to reach then. They were trying to reach Black women, younger Black women, possibly Black men, because like I said, they got a booty out there. So these companies, like they just trying to make money. They're not beholding to a certain like group, but maybe except for Abercrombie, but they didn't went down under anyway. For the most part, they're not trying to say, I am only beholding to one like demographic. They are going to go with the trends. And American Eagle obviously sees the data that I presented on the show a couple months ago, which is that especially a lot of younger men are trending more conservative. 2019, it was a different time. 2019, people were like, get Trump out of here. Biden was about to run in 2020. Like people were saying, we got to get Trump out of there and we got to save this country and we need more diversity. So do you see how they moving with the times? That's what American Eagle did. Now, push this here because American Eagle did respond. So let me show you what they said. American Eagle's exec responds to Sydney Sweeney great jeans controversy. So I want you to see what they said here. The campaign, they said that it was greenlit and it was encouraged by Sydney Sweeney herself. The campaign, which plays on a double meaning genetics and the brand's iconic denim, has dominated social feeds with some saying the wording evokes racist and nationalist ideals. So let's see what Shapiro said. Shapiro said in the Zoom call, with the Zoom call with Sydney, we were asking the question, how far do you want to push it? Sweeney's response was immediate and exactly what the brand was hoping for. Without hesitation, she smirked and said, let's push it. I'm game. The team reaction was just as swift. Our response, challenge accepted. They go on to say here from Shapiro, from that moment on, the executive said Sweeney's daring sentiment became the guiding principle for the entire massive rollout. Sid's sentiment guided every frame, every stitch, and every unexpected twist of the Sydney Sweeney Has Great Jeans campaign. Infusing our own personal cheeky energy and making us as we envision how the world would experience the launch. See what I'm saying? What they said? As we envision how the world would experience the launch. The goal was to go bigger than ever before. Fueled by Sweeney's willingness to embrace the playful concept, a desire to stretch beyond anything we had done before. The ideas kept building, the stunts topping themselves, and the stunts have been impossible to miss. The More is More campaign includes a massive, multifaceted takeover of culture, including a playful stunt double to reveal the genius pun behind jeans, testing AI try-on technology, and show-stopping interactive 3D billboards in New York City, prompting a pre-exemptive note. Apologies to the NYPD in advance. So, what they explain to you here is this is what they wanted to get a stir. They wanted it to get attention. And that's exactly what people gave it. It says the star power of Sydney and the double meaning behind the campaign has a culture shaping power beyond anything I could ever have imagined being a part of. Just check your social feeds. So that's what American Eagle was trying to do. Right. Becky says, sounds like they knew what they were flirting with. Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. They wanted to get a stir out of people. They wanted people to talk about it. And that's exactly what people are doing. And now American Eagle's stock has increased right after this ad. One of the ways for a business to die is for people to stop talking about you. I wasn't even thinking about American Eagle for a long time until this whole controversy of this ad came out. So their mission was accomplished. Now, I just kind of see it as that. And I think some people are really upset about it. I mean, if you're upset about it, you're upset about it. But I don't know. I feel like I've seen this over and over again with advertising where there's always, it seems like every year there's that one commercial that people get really angry, really frustrated and freaked out about, right? But American Eagle was telling you right there, they knew exactly what they were doing and they were trying to appeal to a certain demographic. You don't have to shop there. That's how I look at it. You don't have to shop there. I will say this though, to Sydney Sweeney, because we brought up Brooke Shields being in a similar advertisement for the Calvin jeans and stuff. From what I'm reading, it appears that Sydney Sweeney is being seen as a sex symbol. And the only thing that I would say is one thing that Brooke Shields did say, she did give kind of warning advice to other actresses heading down that path that she took. Because the problem that Brooke Shields said that she ran into as being this sex symbol was that other actresses, other serious roles that she would audition for, it was she wasn't seen as a serious actress because she was identified as this sex symbol. And apparently, from what I understand with Brooke Shields, they did this to her at a very young age. I don't even think Brooke Shields, I think she was 14, 15 when she was in that movie, The Blue Lagoon, whatever. Right. So that is one thing that I would say, because it is hard. Once you get that label, it's harder to transition to more of the serious roles and things like that. It's hard for them to go beyond seeing that. And she was 15. Yeah, she was 15. She was so young. Brooke Shields was very young. And my mom was explaining this to me. And so that is one thing I would say. It's hard when you get stuck into that typecast. But yeah, it's an ad. So I say, isn't it obvious? Because yeah, it's obvious American Eagle knew what they were doing and who they were trying to appeal to. Does there need to be full panels talking about this and like people saying, get rid of these people and take it down and all this kind of stuff. I don't even know you should go that far. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be doing that every year. But you don't have to shop there. That's how I see it. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.